in today's video, I'll be taking a look at this map and analyzing it. And if you don't know what this map is a map of the 2024 election. If the next 4 years shift, or the states shift in the next 4 years as they did in the last 4 years. I got this by taking a look at Cook Political Reports, National Popular Vote Tracker, and then looking at the swing. And then I also used map.jacksonjude.com for the map, and then obviously my regular election map website, yapwms.com, or YIPMS. I just call it Yapwms because it's easier. Anyways, so as you can see, an interesting map. There's a couple of states I want to look at. First off is Wisconsin. Joe Biden won here by literally 0.6%, which is less than what Trump won by. Sorry, I have all my icons in the bottom, which is less than what Trump won by in 2016. Which is obviously not great for Democrats, considering the fact that, considering the fact that Democrats did better this year and they still did worse than Republicans did in Wisconsin, and the fact that Donald Trump was not a very liked candidate in 2016. I do understand that people despised Hillary Clinton, so that could make sense as to why that was like that, but it would mean that a lot of these voters, or a lot of Obama to Trump voters voted with Trump again over Joe Biden. But it also means that a lot of these voters still liked Donald Trump better than Joe Biden, and a lot of it wasn't just I guess the Hillary effect. We always talk about the Trump effect. Would this be the Hillary effect? I guess it would be. A lot of those voters, I guess, a lot of us thought that it was like I just made up the Hillary effect. I guess that's the best word for it. But it doesn't seem like it was, just looking at this data. It seems like a lot of these voters genuinely like Donald Trump. He obviously still lost, but a lot of these, he still did better than Joe Biden in the state. And I think that's a bad sign for Democrats, especially when in 2024, if and probably when Donald Trump isn't on the ballot, even if there's a more traditional or moderate conservative. It doesn't even have to be a moderate conservative, just someone more traditional, like Mitt Romney or someone like that, or even someone like Ron DeSantis or Ted Cruz, where they're Trump Republicans, but they're Trump Republicans before Trump. I think that when they run a candidate like that, Wisconsin could easily go red again. So that's why I don't think that this is necessarily very realistic, this lean characterization. But like I said, it's not, or I didn't say this, but it's not a prediction. It's just looking at data. And I think that a lot of these states will shift to the left, even though they didn't. Just a couple places I want to look at are states, Nevada, DC, and Ohio. Nevada literally didn't shift. DC didn't shift. That's just why I wanted to talk about those. But Ohio only shifted 0.1% to the left, even in a year. So I think this is a lot like I was talking about in Wisconsin, where it's not that these voters hated Hillary. I think a lot of these voters just liked Trump, and it might be because there's a lot of enthusiasm around him. But still, if they were to run Ron DeSantis, if they were to run Mitt Romney again, if they were to run if they were to run a more moderate conservative or a Trump wing conservative that's more or less looking towards the future, like Josh Hawley, they could easily win here by. I honestly think that Josh Hawley, also with the regional advantage, could win the state of Ohio by double digits. Same with Iowa. Iowa, I think, will definitely vote to the right of Ohio. But I think that they're both going to go by similar margins to the Republicans, and I think that this shows that it hardly shifted at all to the left. I think that this shows that Republicans probably have, I don't want to say these states locked down, but seeing that Democrats probably aren't going to try to contest them again, they probably, I guess I should say, they pretty much have them locked down at this point. I don't really see any Democrats winning in these states at this point. A couple more states I just want to take a couple looks at. Montana, Missouri, Indiana. These are states that in my election prediction I said could go by likely margins, and this is just showing these states can. They all shifted 3.1, 3.2, and 4.1. Similar margins to the left. And they all voted for Donald Trump by similar margins. 16, 15, 16. So I think that these states will kind of hover around there. Not much to do with those. Next up, this is very significant. Virginia. It's a likely state, yes, but it shifted 4.8 points to the left, and it was 10.1%. 0.1% to the left, it would have been a likely state, or safe state. It would have been safe Virginia. I think that that's very significant, showing that, how many years ago was it? I think it was, at this point, 13, because it's 2021. Yeah, Obama flipped it. He shifted it. It went 8.2% to the left. He shifted it by, 14.5% to the left, I think it was. And then he didn't do as well there. He only made it a lean margin. But then slowly it's become a safe state, soon to be a safe state, which is incredible. Same thing with Colorado. Colorado shifted 8.6% to the left. 8.6%. It was competitive in 2016. It was more or less competitive, still competitive with Obama, but Obama was able to do things. I talked about that other candidates couldn't do. And it had been a swing state before this. Bill Clinton won it in 1992. It was actually a safe state in, 90 or 84? 84 is not necessarily a thing that I should be bringing up, and this is just going way back, but as you take a look at it, these two elections were like Obama's elections, except for larger margins. As you take a look at it, it's been continuing to be a competitive swing state. It's actually been kind of like Iowa, in recent years, where it swings, but it goes by large margins. And then Obama won it, and it hasn't gone red since. Even though before then it had gone red the majority of the time, it had been a swing state that had gone red. Obama won it in 2012 by, actually, I'm going to see what percentage he won it by. Yeah, 5.4%. Hillary Clinton only did 0.6% worse. But then Joe Biden shifted it 8.6 points to the left. He doesn't need another 8.6 points. He only needs 2.5 to make it a safe Democratic state. Republicans would need a miracle to be able to make Colorado relatively competitive again. Another state I want to look at is Arizona. This state shifted 3.9% to the left, and Joe Biden only won it by 0.3%. I think that state will continue to shift to the left. I think it'll be the same characterization. I do think that it'll be lean, but I don't think it'll be that large of a margin necessarily. Like 4.2, I think it'll probably be like 2-3%, because Joe Biden of Democrats in this state has done the worst. At least that Democrats have won. I think that Doug Ducey, his seat was up in 2018, I think, and he won by large or fairly large margins. Or not, I won't say fairly large, but considering how tight Arizona's been, the largest margins, I think. But other than that, Democrats have won all the races. Kristen Sinema and Mark Kelly both won by, I think Mark Kelly was like 2 something, and Kristen Sinema, I think, won by about 3%. I'm pretty sure both were running against Martha McSally. I'm pretty sure Kristen Sinema was running against Martha McSally. So that might just be a hate for Martha McSally. But even with, so Donald Trump overperformed Martha McSally. Even so, Martha McSally in 2018 decided to try and decided that she was going to try and distance herself from Trump, and then 2020 decided that she was going to try and get as close to Trump as possible, like what Kelly Loeffler did. That didn't work. Both times she lost. She lost by a larger margin, actually, when she distanced herself from Trump, which I feel like it's kind of weird. Although it was a Democratic wave year, so that might have been a bit of a fluke. But still, she lost by a larger margin than what Donald Trump lost by. This state, we've seen it vote 2-3% for Democrats. I think that it will probably do 2.5%, maybe even 4% for Democrats. It's gonna be a Democratic state. I don't see it voting red unless it's a strong Republican wave year. But also if you look at this, I don't think that it'll be a Democratic stronghold. I'll say it like that. People have been saying, oh, it's going to be likely, it's going to be 5-6%. Like, it's not going to be that large of a margin. It's not going to be a huge margin. It will be a margin that's not, like, ridiculously close, like 0.3% or whatever it was. But it's not going to be 4 or 5%. I think it's going to be closer to 2 or 3%. And also, if you look at this, Maricopa County, the county with Phoenix, first up Democrats won there, which is a good sign for them. But it's or Phoenix at least, is growing in population. It's getting bigger and bigger, which is good for Democrats. A lot of minorities are leaving from. I always want to say the northern half of the nation. There's not like this little chunk of the nation is like most of it is white. Over here, I guess in this, I always want to say the northeastern part of the nation, but like it's not. This is the northeast. So I guess if you were to split the nation into four, the northeastern half of the nation or quarter of the nation, um, it's losing black population. A lot of these, and I mean, like the majority of the population up here is on this side. Like, um, hold up, I'm just gonna try and do this quick math. Oh yeah, up here it's I believe 37 electoral votes. Actually, no, take out Utah. I added Utah. It's 31 electoral votes, which at that point will be less than, or will be as much as New York and New Hampshire combined. This has most of the population. No state over here has 17 electoral votes. It's there's not as large a population over there as over here, and a lot of this is minority population. Obviously, um, like Mississippi has the highest percentage of black voters or black or has the highest percentage of a black population, and they still don't have 50% of their population being black. But a lot of this is minority voters. A lot of these and the black voters, I think I might be wrong on this, but I think or at least throughout the Sun Belt have a larger share of the electorate, or I guess the southern part of the Sun Belt. Over here, some of these states have large black populations, but a lot of these, like Colorado, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, a lot of these states have larger Hispanic and Latino population. Well, Florida does as well, and so does Texas. Anyways, a lot of these voters are leaving this area and coming down to the Sun Belt. That's why Arizona is getting electoral vote. It's getting a population. Minorities are getting larger percentages of population. Soon, or I don't want to say soon, but eventually, the majority of the population will be minorities. I know that sounds kind of weird. What I basically mean by that, like white voters will still be the largest group in the nation, just simply group wise. But when it's white voters and then minorities, period, then yeah, it's minorities will make up the majority of the population, and minority voters heavily favor the Democrats. Anyways, Arizona's gaining electoral votes, getting a larger minority population, and this will definitely favor the Democrats. To make a long story short, the next place I want to look at, Nebraska's second congressional district, 8.8% to the left. It voted for Donald Trump in 2016 by small margins, 2.2. But it shifted. If it does it again, it'll be a safe area. I don't think it'll shift like that again. I think it'll actually shift a little bit to the right and end up being like a high lean, like 5%. But if it does it again, it will be a safe district, which I think is sort of insane that in the span of two elections, it'll have gone from being a lean Republican state to a safe Democratic state if this were to happen. Another congressional district, Maine second, it voted. I don't think there's much to talk about there. It's still going to be likely Republican state. Alaska now. I want to talk about this real quick. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to try and end it soon. But Alaska shifted 4.7 points to the left. 0.4% more. It would be a lean state in this election. It's incredible that in 12 years, 2020 or 2032, Alaska will have been a Democratic state if this were to continue. In 8 years, it'll be 9.4 to the left. It'll be 0.6% to the Republicans. It'll be incredibly competitive. Also, especially Lisa Murkowski, considering becoming an independent and caucusing with the Democrats, would not help Republicans. But Alaska will be a very competitive state soon. This will be tighter margins than in Iowa. In Ohio, yes, it'll be tighter than Idaho. Obviously Idaho's like a 40% Republican state or plus 30. Okay. But Alaska will be a very competitive state by that point. It'll be tighter than New Hampshire. New Hampshire, by the way, will also be similar to Virginia, as I was just talking about. And then two more states I want to talk about before I end this. North Carolina. This shifted 2.3% to the left. It'll be a 1% Democratic state if this were to happen. I don't think it will be, but considering that shifted 2.3% to the left, it's hard not seeing it shift. Like, even should it shift 1.4% to the left next year, which is 0.9% left than what it did, it'll still be a Democratic state. I find it hard for it not to, especially as you can see, gaining an electoral vote. It's getting a larger population, which, as I've said before, favors Democrats, which is not a good sign for Republicans. The only problem facing Democrats with making this a Democratic state is the Democratic Party in North Carolina is awful, which I think that's definitely a good thing for Republicans, that North Carolina can't run good Democrats other than Roy Cooper. But I think that right now, North Carolina is even still tilt blue, especially considering turnout's been raising all across the nation. If you take a look at this, its turnout is up 16.5% since the last election. That's high. That's a lot of turnout. That's a lot of higher turnout. That's crazy. And I don't think that it necessarily needs to shift to the left, get this much turnout again. It just needs to get higher turnout. And it doesn't need to be 16.5. It doesn't need to be high. They can't just expect for nothing. They can't just wait and expect for something to happen. But I think that at the moment, if the turnout increases by just enough, which it probably will be, or which it probably will do, this state will probably be a Democratic state. Now, the last thing I want to take a look at, state of Florida. Donald Trump, not Joe Biden, won here by 3.3%. It shifted 2.2% to the left. That would make it a likely state. I don't think it's going to shift that much again. I think it'll hover around that 3.3, 3.5, 4% margin. Democrats, at their best, could make it a tilt state. I can't think of any Democrats that could win here except for Obama, who obviously isn't running. And, I forgot his name. Okay, this is sad. The guy, Chris King, was his running mate. Andrew Gillum, that's his name. Who ran for governor in the state of Florida in 2018. He's the only candidate I can think that could win there, and he lost his race anyways, which is not good, obviously. I can't think of Democrats winning here. I can see them doing well, but I don't think Democrats will win here. So I think that's it, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video, whenever that may be. Bye, guys.